Hey guys, thanks for tuning on in to today's video where I talk about my favorite bronzers, contours, products that just help to warm up my face. I'll also be talking about some that did not work out so well. So if that is of interest to you, then stick around. It should make for a really exciting topic in this week's series where I just review hit and misses across the board for different types of products in my collection. Alright you guys, so let's get started. I will link all of the corresponding videos, the playlist that I've created for this series. This week I wanted to just take a step back, review things in my collection that worked, didn't work, decide to group it into product categories to make it a little bit easier. I think it's working out so well. Let me know in the comments what you've thought about this week. But we do have a few new subscribers, so hey guys, thanks for stopping on by. I really appreciate you subscribing to my channel, checking out my videos. The support is appreciated, as well as if you are not new and you've seen at least another video or two of mine, thank you for coming on back. It just warms my heart. I really do enjoy the continued support. So, having said that, let's talk about these products. I'm doing multiple videos right now, so I've got everything kind of laid out. These products range from drugstore to semi-high end, not anything super expensive. The most expensive thing can be bought in a Sephora, but I just tried to pick a nice range of products that I feel like represent my collection and things that I like about these types of products and things that I don't like about these types of products. As always with this series and each of my videos, I have had a disclaimer of some sort saying, hey, if it worked for me and it didn't work for you, it's all good. If something didn't work for me and you love it, it's all good. Please do not take offense to any of my thoughts. I'm just sharing my opinion as someone else that has used these products. I don't mean any shade by anything. I just speaking my makeup truth. So let's jump on in. The first thing I have to talk about is the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette in light to medium. I have the other palette, like the deep dark, medium to dark. This is what it looks like. Sorry, mine's a little gross. I use this one almost every single day. So you get a highlight, a contour, and a sculpting shade. These, of course, are way too light to actually contour my face, and I have found that they are useful for me in warming up my face. So it's kind of like a hack or just a trick that I have found. Because it is really hard for me to find good foundation shades, I either go a little bit dark and brighten up my face or go a little bit light and warm up my face. So I will take this, get a big fluffy brush and just like put it on all over my face after I do my contour. So next I have a kind of a surprise product. I just picked this up recently, but I've been using it pretty consistently ever since I got it. This is the Rimmel London, kind of like same premise, contour highlight blush kit. So I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. Can you see the pink a little bit? The pink is kind of hard to show up. There we go. So I'll be honest, I usually skip over Rimmel. They're starting to be a little bit more inclusive with their shade range. So when I saw this, I was like, I wonder if this is dark enough. It looks it. Let's find out. So this is also pretty inexpensive, and I was like, okay, if it doesn't work, I'm not out a ton of money. What I have found is that this highlight, nah, it's not really a highlight on my skin tone. They're a little chalky in consistency, and I might at some point do a quick dupe video or bake this into a larger dupe series. This blush shade is very similar to how NARS's Orgasm works on my skin because the pink doesn't show up. It's kind of like this rosy gold highlight that shines through. So I think this is, from a color standpoint, a good dupe, but maybe not from like a quality standpoint. I don't think they're quite the same. They don't stack up, but definitely from what I remember, feels pretty dupeable. So I might jump on that. But anywho, this is a really nice kind of light contour shade. I did not contour today. I didn't want to just put one thing on my skin, so I stayed away from all of it. I think I did use some of that Black Radiance though to warm up my face. But this is really nice and light. It's showing up a little bit more golden on camera than it does in real life. This is also like more of a cool neutral shade, which I like. I enjoy it. They make 3 different versions of this, and this is in the shade Golden Bronze. If you're like half a shade darker than me, you can probably work with this. If you're lighter than me, I would consider looking at the other 2 little kits that they have. Next, I think we have, oh, I have one more contour shade. Okay, this is like a contour bronze video. It's, so, full disclosure, for this week, I was going to upload, like, honestly, guys, 10, 12 videos, and I had to take a step back and be like, okay, do I really have opinions about each of the categories that I'm going to be reviewing? Like, mascara, whatever, powders. I have a ton of powders, but those things don't really jump out to me enough to be like, I have a dedicated, you know, hits and misses. So this one's kind of a mix of things, but I don't want to get on here and lie and pretend like, you know, I have 10 contour shades to talk about. I don't. Like I have 10 bronzers. I don't. So just trying to keep it authentic. But this is my everyday contour shade. This is the MAC Studio Fix in the shade NW58. I've had this for, I think, 2 years now. It's my everyday contour. It's one of those things that stays in my Instagram photo. So if you have any questions about it, definitely use the link down below to get to my Instagram. It's also in the bio, and then you can just kind of click around and see the products that I use. For any look that I post on my account, I always list all the products and the brands. I post photos of them so you guys can see exactly what I'm using. But yeah, this one works, and MAC has a very extensive shade range. So if you want to get a super crazy contour, have at it. If you want something light, you can find your shade. This might be, I don't know if this is like a powder foundation or what. I'm not very familiar with the naming system that MAC has for all their products, but even though I have used this the longest out of my collection, I will say I went through a phase where I thought this was just too dark and too harsh for me. So maybe consider that. If you are my complexion, this is not necessarily the most natural contour. Speaking of, I just picked up, this is kind of cute. I just picked up this new brush from Black Radiance, and I don't remember what the name of this type of brush is, but it's very reminiscent of the NARS. Is it Ida? I think that's the name of it. So this is good for folks like me who just recently realized they might be placing their contour on the wrong parts of their face. Like, you don't contour the whole cheek. This is good for being able to lay the contour down kind of right where you want it, get a nice soft line going and kind of buff it out. Same with this. This is a Moda BMX 250 chisel brush. I found that I was using brushes that were too big and just putting contour like right smack here. Nah, that's not how contour works. So maybe consider picking this up. It's like $5. All right, we've got two more things that I like. This is similar to, this is like the high-end version of the Black Radiance product. This is the Guerlain Terracotta in the shade 7. You can also buy this on Groupon for like nothing. But this is kind of my luxury pick. I'm gonna be honest, like, who is this bronzing? This is not inclusive. At all. This is one of their deepest shades too. I think their website has, I think number 8 is on their website, but that is truly the deepest shade. Like, nah, y'all playing games. This is not really dark enough to contour. Oh, all right, fine, it's a bronze. Still, it's not quite like, I use it to help warm up my face, but I'm not bronzing my face, if that makes sense. I get it's not a contour shade because I can now magically read, but this is probably bronzing at best medium skin tones, which is fine. Brands gonna do what brands want to do. But I love how just like finely milled it is. It smells nice and luxurious, and I do use this to help warm up my face. So it's a little bit lighter than the Black Radiance product, so this is kind of more going into fall winter. Be using this a little bit more. And then, oh, I have 2 more, JK. All right, so I use this quite often. This is a L'Oreal Glam Bronze in the shade Deep. Again, it's not really that deep. This is also one of my more red picks. So is the next one that I have coming up, but it's just like really pretty. I will mix this as kind of like a base under my contour. So I'll kind of just bronze my face and then contour on top. And I really like the glow that it gives. This isn't quite glittery, but it's got like this kind of weird shimmer to it. It's not super prevalent on the skin, but I think I've had this for close to about 2 years now when it first came out. I think it came out and no one was really talking about it, and then I think it got a little bit more publicity. I was using it when it first kind of surfaced. So I've been using it for a minute. I do recommend this, and they do have several shades. I might even have some new ones. I'm not sure. So check it out. Lastly, I've got a product that I enjoy but don't use very often. It was sitting in a bin over there, and I'm so lazy. Like, the bin is just right there, but your girl's not getting up to get it. So this is the Natasha Denona All Over Glow in the shade 3 Dark. These names kill me. That's what it looks like. Very nice, healthy, kind of summery glow. I'm gonna figure out, kind of play around with this going into fall and figure out how I can wear it a little bit more. It's beautiful on. Is this one that's a little red? No, I'll swatch this one. I don't know if you guys can see it. You might not be able to see it. It's just like a little bit of glow. This is kind of like a treat yourself, because like these powders, you don't really run through them very quickly, so I will have this for a while, but I do recommend it. I think there are also 2 shades lighter than this, so depending on your skin tone, you could use this as like a highlighter, you could use it as a bronzer. Just play around with the shades, see which ones you like. If you end up purchasing it, I do highly recommend it. Now, on to things that I didn't like. So I have one that I truly just don't like, and then one that's kind of like on the fence for me. Let's start with the one. So this is a Black Radiance pressed powder. They do have a nice shade range. I don't know. This is in the shade Ebony 8615 Ebony. So I go through periods where I use this and periods where I don't. It's not quite one of my favorites though. It's just kind of bleh, like a nah type of shade for me. I think it is kind of light, so I feel like this might be nice for kind of going into fall, winter, kind of like a light contour situation similar to that Rimmel product. It's just okay to me, but it is a nice, you know, quality drugstore option if you don't want to go crazy and spend a lot of money. Now, this is kind of a point of pain for me. A little triggered going over these. These are by Sleek Makeup. These are their pressed powders. I honestly have about like 8 of these. This is in the shade Super Tan, but I've got a lot. I'm just using this one as an example. So I have shades to contour with, I have shades to set under my eyes, I have all over face powders. I, very early on in my YouTube career, decided to buy all this stuff from this overseas UK brand. Didn't really understand how that process worked. Ended up getting all this stuff shipped to my sister because I didn't want to pay the extra money for the tracking. So that took an extra few days to get to my sister, and then it took her months to get it to me. So then I finally get it. I started to use the products and I didn't really understand how to use them. And it was just devastating trying to film that day. I honestly didn't film for months, or I don't think it was a year, but it took me a really long time to get back into filming because it just didn't go well. So these are kind of like a point of pain for me, but the formula is weird. Like, they're thick, almost like creamy, and you really have to find your right shade. Like, you can't like play around with these. I'm just gonna swatch this one so you guys can see. Not get any on my sweater, but you really gotta like get your right shade, otherwise the undertones are really strong, and this formula, it's pigmented but it just feels really flat. So Sleek is now being sold in Walgreens, which it'll make it a little bit easier to purchase from them, but I just never reach for these powders. I don't like the formula. It's like I can feel it on my face, and then just my experience with the brand has not been positive from a whole like YouTube standpoint. I've contemplated sitting down and redoing that video knowing what I know now about makeup, albeit it's not everything. Just if I were to do it today, that video would go a lot better, but I just don't really use any of my Sleek makeup products for that reason, and I ordered a ton of stuff, but it's always just been this like, ooh, makes my skin crawl type of thing. So yeah, that is everything. I definitely had more products that I liked versus products that I didn't. And even the ones that I didn't, they weren't like things that I can't necessarily not recommend. Like Sleek, even though I'm slightly triggered by this brand, for better or worse, they have a really extensive product line. So from a powder standpoint, you might be able to find what you're looking for, because even if it didn't work for me, it might work for you. So that is it, you guys. Comment down below if any of these have made your hits or shits list or if they're ones that I didn't talk about. Thank you for tuning on in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Right now, I think 70% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed to me. Not the worst thing in the world, but if you have watched a few of my videos, please consider subscribing. Notifications bell is always a party. If you like watching what I post when I post it, you'll know. YouTube will curate which videos you find out about. So, woot woot. All right, you guys, I gotta keep filming. I do have to go to work in a few hours. So thanks for tuning on in, you guys. I will see you guys shortly. Bye.